Hey guys, it's Cecile. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am an incoming M1 at Northwestern Feinberg School of Medicine, and I actually start in like 3 days, which is so crazy. But I've basically been posting on this YouTube channel for years, basically documenting my life at Brown as a pre-med, and then now I'm gonna be posting documenting my life as a medical student, which is so weird to even be saying, but I'm like really grateful to be in this position and like so excited to start and everything, obviously. But anyways, this video is a continuation of the me reading my secondaries video series. And the reason I posted this one like later is because UCSF operates on a different schedule when it comes to secondaries, and they actually don't send their secondary to everybody. Like, I think I got the secondary invite in like August or something. And honestly, to be fair, I was extremely shocked when I received an interview invite from them, especially because I'm from Ohio. Like, I'm out of state and I went to Brown, which is in Rhode Island, so I was on the East Coast. But I was super grateful to get an interview invite there, and then I got in February, which was absolutely awesome. And obviously it was super cool getting to visit, and that's the school that I was like really torn between. Like, for those of you guys who watched my med school decision reaction, it was literally like down to Northwestern versus UCSF like on the very last day. So that was very crazy, but I still hold a lot of love in my heart, especially for all the people that I met at Second Look weekend. So yeah, I'll be reading through my UCSF secondaries just to give you guys an idea of what I wrote to get an interview. And then my interview went super well, so I will be sharing some tips in a future video for like MMIs and just like regular interviews in general. I know UCSF had like one closed file, one open file, so that was really new to me, but it was really interesting like once I actually like practiced for it. Like, it honestly wasn't that intimidating. But before we get into the video, I just want to highlight this new microphone I'm using since it's my first time using a microphone in one of my YouTube videos. It's from BOYAMagic, and it's basically an AI powered microphone that's essentially like a 4-in-1. Like right now I'm obviously using the clip-on feature and I'm speaking into it here, but they also have a handheld feature where you can just like talk into the microphone like this, and I'll be using this feature later in the video. And then they also have a tripod, and then you can like put the handheld on the tripod and kind of use it as like a desktop feature. And if you have a camera, you can even attach it to your camera and then use the microphone to capture the audio from there. So yeah, not only does it capture the audio super well, but it's basically a 4-in-1 and it's super portable. So I'm really excited to keep making videos with it. So for anyone who wants to check it out, it's BOYAMagic, and it's 1 mic, 4 forms, and basically a marker size portability. So yeah, don't be surprised if you see me using these mics in the next few videos. Like, this is so cool. I can even like whisper into it. Guys, sorry, I'm just like super excited. I've never actually used a microphone before, and the audio is literally so good. And like the AI feature in particular is super cool because you can kind of use it to like remove all the noise from your surroundings. And like right now I'm using that AI feature that removes all the noise from your surroundings, but I kind of have like minimal sound in my background, like just the AC unit running, that sort of thing. But when I'm out in the public, like recording my med school vlogs and stuff like this, and everyone's talking around me, like this is literally going to be perfect for when I just want to like silence out the background noise. I was reading about the mic, and it was trained through so many different audio models that it recognizes so many different types of background audio so that it can most accurately like remove the background noise in different levels. So yeah, overall super excited about this mic, and now let's get into the reading and testing it out. Alrighty, so for UCSF, I'm going to be reading 3 different essays that I wrote on my application. And the very first one is, if you wish to update or expand upon your activities, you may provide additional information below. And this is obviously not required secondary in any way, but I did want to talk about like my gap year experience, and then also the lab that I worked at Brown had like a few faculty members also at UCSF. So I thought I'd put it in there a little bit, just like establish some connection to the school. Like, no, I don't think this is the reason they took me as an out-of-state student, but maybe it helped a little bit because I did have like some sort of ties to the school, but like I really didn't. Like, I barely knew these people. I just knew that they were involved in the research that I did, and that would mean that going to the med school would mean that I'd be able to continue doing that research with those people. But anyways, we can read the secondary now. It was 500 words, and if you've watched my other videos, you might tend to see some repeat. I currently work full-time at Northwestern Medicine as a medical dermatology scribe and researcher. Since starting in early June, I've had extensive clinical exposure by documenting patient visits and collaborating closely with healthcare teams. This has deepened my understanding of patient care, medical decision-making, and the importance of teamwork in medicine. While researching interesting cases and writing case reports, I'm also developing a research project focused on Kaposi sarcoma, which is a cancer prevalent among patients with HIV/AIDS, to explore my interest in infectious diseases in dermatology. Given that LGBTQ individuals are disproportionately affected by HIV/AIDS, I aim to study how a KS diagnosis impacts their quality of life, with the goal of identifying gaps in care to improve outcomes. I've also been expanding Notable Narratives, my nonprofit, to support other first-generation low-income high schoolers as they apply to college. This year marks our 5th college application season, and I hope to increase our reach, especially given our recent partnership with the Coalition application, which is an application used by over 150 colleges to expand college access to underrepresented students. Though I've already recruited 150 advisors for this season, I work weekly with my leadership team to prioritize student outreach, nonprofit partnerships, workshops, and other initiatives to support students. Lastly, I'm aiming to volunteer at Community Health in Chicago, the largest volunteer-based free clinic in the nation, as a lab technician. There, I'll work with a diverse patient population, like I did at Brown, to advance community care. The diversity and vibrancy within Chicago and my hometown of Toledo have prepared me to engage with the multicultural communities in San Francisco, and I believe that attending UCSF School of Medicine will prepare me for a career rooted in both medicine and service. Furthermore, at UCSF, I can advance my research efforts as I work towards a career in academic medicine. I first became interested in UCSF when I started researching malaria through the Bailey Lab at Brown. Our lab was part of the larger infectious disease epidemiology and ecology lab network, so we frequently collaborated with UCSF faculty and researchers. Given my strong interest in infectious diseases, they often told me about the significant advances in infectious disease research at UCSF and the opportunities available for medical students interested in research and global health, such as the International Programs Grant for Clinical Experiences. This reinforced my desire to contribute to UCSF's mission of advancing medicine through education, research, patient care, and public service. I'm committed to integrating these 4 key principles throughout my gap year and carrying them forward into medical school and beyond. So wow, I haven't read this essay in so long, but honestly, I low-key ate with that last paragraph. Like, yes, this prompt is all about like updating them and like talking about what you've been doing in your gap year if you took one, or just anything since you uploaded your primary application. But I feel like I really went above and beyond with this because I not only talked about the things I'm doing, but I then connected it to the UCSF mission statement and essentially used this essay as like my why UCSF. Like, dang, I just haven't read this in so long, but I feel like that last paragraph is what really sold them, honestly. Because yes, I'm from Ohio, but as an out-of-state student, it seemed like I really did my research. Moving on, the next essay prompt is UCSF's Pride values serve as a guiding light for institutional life and activities. Briefly describe how you'll contribute and support one of our Pride values that's consistent with your goals or life experiences. And before I read the segment, I'm switching to the handheld mic just so I can show you guys this feature of the BOYAMagic mic. It's actually so cool because the clip-on version that I was using earlier is actually inside of the handhelds, so you can just pull it out and it's magnetic. Anyways, the blue light means that we're connected, and so we're gonna move on with this essay. And I did have to look up the UCSF Pride values because I obviously wrote this a year ago and I don't remember what they are, but they were professionalism, respect, integrity, diversity, and excellence. And so for this one, I had a story that I'd used in other secondary prompts that I thought worked really well with the professionalism piece. So that's the story that I wrote about. And I said, while thinking about the P of Pride, signifying professionalism, I find myself reflecting on a pivotal experience I experienced during a Pride Month parade in Chicago. I remember watching in awe as the colors of the rainbow filled the streets of Chicago. Performers marched the Pride letters down the street as onlookers waved their flags and cheered in solidarity. Seeing the vibrancy of the LGBTQ community and its allies strengthened my confidence in the transformative power of unity. It was clear that this was a safe space for individuals to express themselves. I spent the afternoon walking up and down the sidewalk, handing out symbolic rainbow carnations and taking Polaroids of families, friends, and couples, with the goal of celebrating love and positivity. It was an event I'd been planning for a few weeks after receiving a grant at the start of Pride Month. However, I was soon taken aback by the screams of a protester. Her homophobic cries mirrored the words on the sign that she was carrying. Though I could feel my heart racing with fear and sadness, I reflected on a workshop I had previously attended where the facilitator told us to appear calm and confident before retaliating with messages of love and inclusion. Channeling this strategy, I stared at her silently, allowing her to finish her thoughts before acknowledging our differing views. I told her that from my perspective, the event and the Pride movement promoted love and acceptance more than anything. We continued to speak for about 20 more minutes as I tried to listen to her thoroughly. I wanted to understand where she was coming from before clarifying any misinformation. Though the conversation was challenging and unexpected, it showed me how deeply ingrained prejudices are against the LGBTQ population and other marginalized groups in our society. While I didn't successfully change her mind at the moment, her change of tone towards the end of our encounter showed me that she was surprised by how professionally and respectfully I engaged with her. Prejudice persists in society today, and in medical spaces, it can adversely affect the quality of care patients receive based on their identities, leading to systemic inequities. Addressing this is essential to support marginalized communities and ensure that all patients receive competent, identity-based care. During the parade, I exhibited professionalism by staying composed while engaging in this challenging encounter. This experience showed me that professionalism extends far beyond the workplace. It's about interacting positively and collaboratively in all aspects of life, especially when facing adversity. I strive to bring this level of professionalism into everything I do, both within and outside of medicine. Understanding that UCSF prioritizes its Pride values as vital to promoting collaborative and diverse spaces, I'm confident my past experiences will help me continue to advocate for inclusivity and equity. I look forward to engaging in curriculum development alongside my peers, discussing and addressing biases openly to promote equity, and I greatly admire that UCSF upholds these unifying values. Dang, that was a very long essay. I feel like I'm losing my voice a little bit. So yeah, this is an experience that not many people would talk about in an essay, so I do think that that really helped that I literally just talked about it head on. And most importantly, I talked about the fact that I didn't change her mind in this conversation. And while it was pure irony that I happened to talk about a Pride event and like UCSF's values are technically like symbolize the word pride, just the acronym. I do think the most important part is just the last paragraph where I really talked about how this showed my professionalism. And not only did I like break that down into words in that last paragraph, but I feel like I showed it through my imagery throughout the entire essay. Like I wasn't just saying, yes, I was a very professional person. I showed it through the way that I was like listening to her and the way that I was engaging in this conversation. And I think that really said a lot about my character. And I think this was a really great example of the P and the professionalism and pride. Alrighty, now for this very last essay, I'm gonna switch back to the clip-on mic. Okay, perfect. Now that's on and we're ready for the very last essay. So this essay prompt is another one that a lot of schools ask. They just use different wording when they ask about it, but it's essentially the diversity prompt. And it says, do you identify as being part of a marginalized group socioeconomically or in terms of access to quality education or healthcare? And please describe how this inequity has impacted you and your community. And then the max was 350 words. And once again, if you've watched my other videos, you're gonna see some of the similarities here. Like, I feel like by this video, you guys probably know my entire like application. Like I've talked about my extracurriculars and I've talked about these essays over and over again. Like you basically know my story at this point. Anyways, for this one, I said, my commitment to health equity is rooted in my personal experiences helping my immigrant parents navigate the U.S. healthcare system. Growing up in a low-income household in the Rust Belt city of Toledo, Ohio, I was very aware of the health disparities in our city, which I often noticed while traveling to community clinics with my family. Years later, drawing from my childhood, I led Connects for Health in Providence for 4 years, connecting hospital patients to food, clothing, vaccines, federal aid, and other resources. While analyzing our patient demographics in Providence, there were clear racial and socioeconomic health inequities apparent, especially during the pandemic. At this time, I was able to leverage my own cultural and socioeconomic experiences to build rapport with patients. My Middle Eastern identity facilitated relationships with Arabic-speaking patients and immigrants at the clinic, while also giving me a greater appreciation and understanding of people from different backgrounds than my own. Furthermore, I understand the importance of inclusive identity-based care to prevent prejudice, which can affect the quality of care that patients receive in medical spaces. For example, I once watched a teenage psychiatry patient, initially scared to speak to the nurses, open up to me about being closeted at home after noticing the rainbow flag on my badge. This reaffirmed the importance of culturally competent care and having providers that mirror and understand the patient population. As I pursue a career in medicine, my background continually motivates me to assist and advocate for marginalized groups in healthcare. At UCSF, I will apply what I learned volunteering for Connects for Health while volunteering at the Mobay Health Center. I look forward to connecting with the communities within the Soma district to understand the local disparities, while drawing upon the inequities I saw in Providence and my hometown of Toledo. I also aim to advocate for inclusive, identity-based care while building community with my peers. First off, sorry I talk so quickly, guys. Like, I just acknowledge that these are super long essays and I have a very short attention span, and so I'm used to talking quickly because I just like want to go through it. But anyways, this is an essay I've kind of reused over and over again in my secondaries, and it's essentially talking about my background and how I think that that has shaped how I approach healthcare and how I continue to view medicine overall. And this is something that I think was really important, especially to UCSF, because I think they really value diversity within their class. And that was clear both on my interview day and the pre-presentation they gave us, and also just from like seeing everybody else on the interview day and the different experiences that people had. It was very clear that it was a very diverse class of interviewees. And then I also noticed that at second look, which I really, really enjoyed. So yeah, overall that was my entire UCSF application. I will say there are definitely days where I think about the fact that my life could be totally different if I had chosen UCSF and I'd be in California right now and I would have already started school, honestly. But I do think that everything happens for a reason, and I'm so grateful that I had the experience to interview there and learn so much about this school. Genuinely, it's just such a tough decision deciding between two like equally amazing institutions, but I'm so excited to be at Northwestern, and I honestly see myself hopefully staying in Chicago and the Midwest long term, so I feel confident in my decision. But yeah, I wish you guys all the best of luck when it comes to like finishing out your secondaries and your applications and everything. And for UCSF in particular, like stay patient. I know it takes a while for everybody to get their secondary, and although they don't give it to everybody, they do send it out at different times. Like I had some friends who got the secondary like weeks after me. So yeah, good luck guys. I know it's a super, super long process, but stay subscribed to my channel so you can keep up with my life in medical school. And then also check out my extracurricular video. I'm doing an Anki remote giveaway there. And then of course, like make sure to like, comment below if you have suggestions, and then hit the bell to be notified every single time I post. Sweet, thank you guys.